I'm really excited to get to show you guys this system. It's really great. We did have a couple of people test it as well, and they had really great feedback about how user-friendly it is. And we have a really great team here for any support or questions that you do have. And before I pass it off to Amy, I know I discussed it a little bit during the town hall, but I wanted to just recap why we're doing annual reviews. And we were taking the time to step back and see any gaps that we have. And I just think that this is way more effective rather than doing anniversary reviews. So this right now is time carved out for you and your teams to be able to evaluate your performance, evaluate your team's performance, and get just designated time to provide feedback and insight and create goals for the next year that you can work and grow on. No matter where you're at in the company, we are continuing to grow, and we want to make sure that if you're on site, overseas, at corporate, everybody's getting the same experience and consistency where you're able to get feedback, receive feedback, give feedback, and continue to grow. So I do have a couple of timeline things that I'll wrap up with at the end, but I'll go ahead and let Amy teach us how to use the system right now.
Thank you, Mia. That was a great introduction. Thank you all for joining us today. We know you have busy days, and we really appreciate you taking the time to join us on this call. We just want to make the performance process a little more familiar before you get in and have to fill out your first reviews. So you'll notice on my... Excuse me, did anyone have a question?
I think that was somebody accidentally unmuted. You should be good to go. Thanks, Amy.
Amy, I think you might be muted.
Oh, thank you, Mia. I appreciate it. Okay, so just so you guys notice, I am on your guys's home screen. So this is basically actually your employee portal login screen. You will be accessing performance management utilizing this same login. So right here, I just like to show you just for familiarity where you're going to be accessing the reviews. So as you can see, I'm just showing your employee portal screen. Once you guys log in, you'll be in your employee portal that will look something like this, but not exact. Keep in mind, widgets are always different per organization, and I don't have a login to your guys' employee portal. So I just have a demo one that I typically show as part of this example. You will notice though that you probably have a menu very similar to this listed on your employee portal. Ours is listed down the left-hand menu screen. Some organizations will have theirs on the right or along the top, so don't worry about that. But when you do click into your employee portal, you're typically going to be looking for this Prism Talent Management option. This is where you'll click in and access your performance management appraisals. Once you click into this, it will take you to your guys' hosted screen for performance management. And when I click into mine, you're going to notice I'm logged in as a sample employee in your guys' environment. So this is the M. Shapiro performance management dashboard. This is typically the screen that you will go to as a supervisor. It will take you to this screen first. As you can see, you'll have, this is your home screen. It's a widget, kind of shows you some of the different appraisal statuses as well as any feedback milestones if you guys have those set up. It'll let you know if you have any overdue appraisals, and then down here it will list the appraisals for those in the organization that you're your direct reports. So you can access your reviews here to fill them out for your employees, or you can simply go into the appraisal screen. The appraisal screen is probably the more common way to access them, but you definitely can access them here if you want to. In the appraisal screen, you will notice that you do have some additional options that help you filter if you need to do that. The other thing I want to note before we go into an appraisal and show that to you is if you guys have a self-appraisal, it will either show up here under My Appraisals, or sometimes if you have a self-appraisal, you'll have to toggle over utilizing your login over here, and it will say this talent management portal, and you may have to toggle into that to see your own appraisal. So if you guys end up having to do an appraisal on yourself as well, that is where you might need to access it. I like to point that out on the supervisor call. You'll also note that here, as you hover over your reviews that have been assigned to you, the line will gray out. If you click into this review anywhere where you're hovering over it and the dark gray shows up, it will take you immediately into that review. So we're going to go ahead and click into one of those reviews right now. And this is the view you're going to see. So when you come in to fill this out, this is the view that you're going to be able to see. And we're going to walk through how you're going to fill out this evaluation just so that you're familiar with the fill and the steps involved. Your appraisal is set up really nice. You just have the 3 areas. You have the performance area, employee goals section, and then a comment section. On this first tab under performance areas, you'll note that there is a description of a few different areas along with so basically the title and the description. So you're going to want to read this information and then you're going to come over here and rate. You can rate one of 2 ways. You can either drag and drop this, and as you do so, it will tell you what the level definition means for that number, or you can also simply click on the number you want it to go to. Okay, you'll do that for every section on this first tab. And then you can provide comments down here that pertain to any of these areas. And then you do need to save when you complete each tab, and it will record that information. Please keep in mind that we don't have these set up as individual sections. So you can leave comments down here for any of these and just note what section it's for. You will also have the opportunity to see the self-evaluation made by the employee. So right now we're logged in as a supervisor, and if your employee had completed their review, it will let you know what they rated themselves over here on the right-hand side of the screen. Okay, that's just helpful because if there's a disconnect between what you're rating them and what they're rating themselves, that would probably be an important area to provide some comments below for. Are there any questions on the performance areas tab of the review right now? Perfect. Okay. So we are going to, like I said, just make sure that you save this screen. I will tell you that when you save a section of the review and you've completed your portion, it will show green, a green dot here instead of a yellow. That just lets you know quick reference wise which parts of the review you've already completed, which is super helpful, especially if you're doing a lot of them. So next we're going to go into the employee goals. As you can see, we've kind of set them up with placeholders. So you can go in here and create goal number 1, number 2, and number 3. You can add a name for the goal, a description for that goal, as well as provide some feedback. If this is a goal that they're going to be working on during the year, you may not be ready to go ahead and mark any of it complete or evaluate it. So you can always just create the goal for now, and then it can always be evaluated later as needed. Mia, will you remind me if you guys are going to be keeping your reviews open year round, or do you just want them to rate it in the time frame that you're originally giving them?
This is just going to be in the time frame that we're giving them, and then we possibly will be doing a follow-up throughout the year, but right now we're just going to stick with the time frame.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so that's good. So you guys will want to create the goal, provide the description. If they've started working towards that goal, you can definitely provide feedback here. And then if you guys decide that, you know, these goals are just going to be made and we're not going to be evaluating them as much, down the road, we could always remove the evaluation portion of the review if needed. So keep that in mind as well, Mia. Okay. Next section, you'll notice that because we're in the goal tab, and this takes us into an individual screen, one other thing I like to point out is there is a visibility option. So if you're going to provide feedback on here, but you don't want the employee to see your feedback until you sit down with them and finalize on your end, it automatically defaults for supervisors to public after finalized. What that means is the employee won't see it prior to you finalizing your side of the review. So you'll have already met with them and everything. If you want them to see it prior to that, you're more than welcome to move it to public. And then we recommend that you leave it as included on final report. That just means it'll print out as part of the PDF for this review. In case it's ever downloaded as a PDF, it's important that everyone be able to see those comments if they pertain to the performance. The other item on this page you'll notice is after I enter this information, you would want to push save, and then you can always just opt for next for this specific tab, and that will just take you to the next goal setting section. Here you would do the same thing, create that goal, list a description, and then provide any feedback here. When you push save, your feedback will no longer show up here. It will show down here in the feedback history. Just so you know, a lot of organizations, sometimes I have someone say my feedback just disappeared, but it will show up down here in the feedback history. It will remove it from the feedback box for the current feedback. Any questions on the goal setting screen? Okay, wonderful. Everyone's good. So you will save those. Like I said, once you've saved all 3 of those, this will also mark as complete. You can provide future goals. So if you have an employee that wants to make a goal for next year, you can add those in here. Sounds like for now, you guys are just going to be working on the current goals. So I wouldn't worry too much about the future goals. They're in there. What's nice about the future goal is say they did work on a goal this year and they didn't quite obtain it and you want to push it to next year, you can push select future goal and then it will automatically show up on their review next year as a current goal. So that is a nice feature. That can come in handy if they have goals they've already been working on and then you're entering them in here as well. So keep that one in mind. The last tab that we're going to go over is this appraisal comments tab. You'll notice that this is just an open text box. You're welcome to come in here and provide any kind of overview feedback that you want to leave as part of this employee's appraisal. Typically, most organizations will use this tab a lot for kind of a summary of what they feel like the employee's performance was for the year. It can be really general or it can be more specific. You can add a couple of lines here or you can add more. That's entirely up to you. It just provides that space for those that want to do an overview to provide that or to add any notes that they may want to make sure that if they didn't pertain to either one of these areas, but they want to note it as part of the review, this is a great place to put a comment like that. Okay, same thing on this tab. Once you enter it, you do want to push save, so it will save that information, but you can always come in here and add additional information after you've saved it already. So don't feel like, you know, it's a one and done. You can come in here and add additional information as you go. Any questions on the appraisal comments? Okay, great. So just so you guys know, once that's done, you typically are going to want to sit down with your employee prior to you finalizing on your side. That just allows you to add additional comments or feedback in the review if you need to after you sit down with your employee. Otherwise, you can finalize it and it will move to signature status for you automatically. You as a supervisor manager will be able to sign it. Once you finalize it, will pop up a little box for you to sign it right then. The employee will need to log back into their employee portal and log into the review to sign on their side for it to be legitimate. So it doesn't let you have them sign while you're meeting with them. So keep that in mind. Any questions about the review process or anything like that before Mia takes over and kind of reviews a few pieces of information with you?
What kind of time frame are we looking at for the reviews?
I have
Ma'am?
all of that written out. I'm going to be sending
okay.
it for you guys after this email, and I'm going to be a little bit annoying over the next few weeks, just following up every single day. I'll be putting calendar invites on your guys' calendars as well to remind you of when deadlines are due. Right now, this section is for every single person in the company is going to be doing their reviews. So that is from February 24th to March 7th.
Okay.
So that's you, that's your employees. You guys are responsible for ensuring that all of your employees complete this within the time frames. I'm going to be sending updates for you guys as soon as possible, every single morning. But you guys do need to make sure that those get completed. So I would recommend between this week and next week, maybe just assigning 15-minute blocks for each of your employees to step off stage at work and just complete this. So that way, because if you leave it all till next weekend, they're not going to get them done on time. So I would probably just work on assigning the time of which works best for them and making sure that gets completed. And then once your employees all finish theirs, you're able to go in and do their reviews for them. So I have that time frame set up from March 10th to March 14th. But if they get them done, you're more than welcome to go in there sooner if you would like to evaluate. So please make sure you're following these timelines. As I said, I'll be annoying and I'll make sure that I'm communicating it to you guys as much as I can. But it's ultimately up to you guys to make sure that this is done effectively and communicated. I will be providing documents as well. So when you guys do have to deliver the reviews, I'll make sure that there's different talking points for you guys to make sure that you hit. If you have any questions on how to deliver reviews, once again, please feel free to reach out to me. Go ahead. I think Birmingham Point has a question if you want to go ahead.
Oh, thanks, Mia. Deanna here. Just curious, is this intended that the community manager reviews all team members, or for example, would the leasing manager review the leasing agent, the maintenance supervisor review the maintenance technician? Was it intended to be hierarchical like that, or just for the manager to do all team members?
So every property has a different setup for what they have. I would connect specifically with your regional manager of how you guys want it. I know that we have people that have been enrolled different lengths of time and they might want to do it with their community manager or alongside somebody. So you guys can, I would follow up specifically with your regional of how you'd want that to be delivered, but I bet that'll be different per property.
Thank you.
Deanna. And then I think Country Estates has a question as well.
Yes, I'm the only employee here. I'm the manager at the site. I don't have employees.
Okay, then you
So
just got to
how's
do
that
your own.
gonna- Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Lakeview has a question too.
Yeah, is everybody going to be receiving, or have they already received an email letting them know that they need to do these reviews and how to do them? Or is,
That's going out today. I just wanted to
Okay.
connect with you guys all first. So that way you guys had the communication pieces to provide to them as well.
thank you.
You're gonna get a couple emails from me between today and tomorrow. So awesome. I think that was the last question. Just a few more wrapping pieces up for me. I had to manually go in and assign every single manager for all of their employees. And we've had a couple of manager changes over the last few weeks. So I'm going to be releasing the appraisals to you guys by the end of day or early tomorrow. So please just check in and look in that system and make sure that there wasn't anybody that I missed, anybody that's assigned to that shouldn't be, or that you're missing. Because I can go in there. It takes 2 seconds to fix that. So please make sure that that is top priority so we can make sure everybody's in the system correctly. Any more questions?
Mia, I have a question. It's Angela.
Go ahead,
So-
Angela.
So once the community manager reviews all of her staff, then they show up in our portal to review them as well?
So I have to speak with Amy regarding that, but right now you'll just have to set up a status with your community managers to go over what they plotted them as, because I don't believe that 2 people can be tied to them to both see it. Go ahead, Kitty.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask for those that are based in Mexico and in the Philippines if we're getting our credentials as well, because I don't think
Yep,
we
so
have.
Melissa helped me create a form specific to you guys, so it will be the exact same system, not the same system, exact same questions and format. It'll just be through Microsoft Forms, so you'll be getting an email with the link and the instructions for that.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Well, if anybody has any more questions, feel free to email me or the HR@mshapiro email address. I'll hang on here for a second as well if anybody has any lingering questions, but I want this to be as easy as possible for everybody. So please feel free to reach out, give me a call, and we can talk through whatever you guys need. I think Noel Terrace, go ahead.
Hey, Mia, this is Ron. Can we start these self-evaluations today? Has that been released?
So those are going to get pushed out. So you guys, you get an email every time I push something out, and depending on how many people are tied to you, you get a lot of emails. So I didn't want to overwhelm anybody and send it before our call. So by end of day today, everybody should have all of their employees. If you don't have them by end of day, please let me know and we'll follow up and make sure everything gets entered correctly.
Thank you.
But you will know, you'll get some emails when you won't have to log in to look. I think that's all. Thank you guys for your time today.
Mia, I have a question about the try-on.
Okay.
Is that you?
Thank you.
That I would talk to you?
Thank you, Mia.
Of course. Yep. I'm staying on. So if anybody has additional questions, feel free to stay.
Okay, when I go to log in, every time logging in and logging out, I get the pop-up that to acknowledge that I received the Nebraska whatever poster every time. And
Every time.
every time I log in and log out, and even after I've signed it and submitted it, I keep getting it.
Okay. That's a different partner at Tryon, but I wrote your property name down and I'll include you on an email about it. Sometimes there's
Same.
glitches like that. Another property, I believe, mentioned they were getting that as well. So I'll follow up and I'll let you know.
Kansas
thank
is
you.
too.
Kansas is too? Okay.
Yep, the Meadows
Thank you,
is
guys.
too.
So is Indian Meadows and Sheboygan.
Sounds like a big try-on glitch, but we will get it fixed. Thank you, guys.
I have one lady that actually only takes over while I'm gone, like 10 days a year. Is she going to be included with this? Because she's going through a lot right now with her husband and stuff. Like I said, I only use her like 10 days sporadically throughout the
Okay.
year.
I'll reach out to you specifically with your manager on that, and we can, since it's a one-off, we can figure that out together.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Crossings on Broadway, if you got a question.
Yes, please. Hi, I'm Laura from the Crossings. I just have a really quick question. So please don't make fun of me. So I
course,
only
I'm
use the I only use the Workforce Hub for like reviewing the time card and stuff. How do I know what my login is for the try-on login?
So your try-on login should be whatever you registered with originally. If you forgot, there's a reset password option. So if you put your email in there, it should just send you an email to reset it if you don't remember it. And the
Okay,
email